we started this conversation about reforming the global financial architecture, many people thought we were mad. But we were not mad. The world today appreciates that there is something fundamentally wrong with the current international financial architecture. It punishes poor countries with high interest rates and rewards rich countries with very low interest rates. Just look at that contradiction, if I may call it. And that is why we are not keeping quiet until we have this conversation and until we settle this matter of reforming the international financial architecture. Because it is doing a disservice to developing countries. And we must call it what it is. Progressively, these are becoming agents and instruments of a new type of colonialism. We must confront harder truths, including the role of developed nations in illicit financial flows, tax evasion, and the politics of debt restructuring. Too often, restructuring is framed as rewarding irresponsibility. Critics cite the US dollars 100 billion debt cancellation of the early 2000s, claiming renewed indebtedness proves reform as futile. This view, in my very honest opinion, is misguided. The global context has changed. Without Africa's solutions, humanity cannot avert a climate catastrophe. Scientists warn of a sixth mass extinction, the first to be driven by human action. Yet Africa's solutions, from solar power and storage to regenerative agriculture, require affordable upfront capital. Without fiscal space, nations are pushed towards outdated fossil fuel, costly imports, and dependence on subsidies. Debt distorts choices and deters future-proof investment. Fiscal space, by contrast, enables clean energy investments, kickstarts a virtuous cycle of inclusive growth, and reduces long-term costs and dependencies. Debt relief is not simply wiping the slate clean. It is about creating conditions for a new trajectory, one that bypasses 19th and 20th century fossil-heavy models and positions Africa to lead with 21st century innovations. History need not repeat itself. Humanity has the knowledge and capacity to avoid past mistakes, and our survival depends on it. Africa has the right to grow, but it must grow sustainably. The world cannot deny that right, nor perpetuate power asymmetries that deepen distrust and instability. Let us, ladies and gentlemen, make climate positive growth real. Let us break the vicious cycle of debt and begin a virtuous cycle of prosperity. Let us create a future where Africa's success powers humanity's survival. And we can do it. In order to build the resilience of our countries, we need to integrate climate and nature-related risks into debt sustainability frameworks. The second point, which is critical, is that accessing contingent financing mechanism is paramount. It will enable us to respond to shocks and preserve fiscal space, as eloquently put by His Excellency President Ruto. Third, strengthening the institution capacities for debt risk and climate finance management becomes also a matter of urgency. Your Excellencies, our African voice and advocacy should constantly be articulated around reforming the current global financial architecture. You said it, Your Excellency, you were among the very few who were very vocal about these reforms. And today it is beginning to shape up, and hopefully in the near future we will be able to say that we have been, at the forefront of those who proposed the reform of this global financial architecture. We need, yes, a systemic shift in the system, and we will be attending COP30 in Berlin, in Brazil. So that should enable us also, that platform, to elevate the Africa's collective voice for a fair, equitable, and predictable financing for our adaptation plans. So far, we attend those conferences and we leave them with bitterness and frustration. Those countries who should provide compensation because of their industrial activities are not willing to step forward and pay the legitimate and credible reparations for the damages and losses caused by climate change. But let me tell you this, through our unity and our collective voice and action, we can bring the paradigm shift we have been expecting for so long. So let us make it happen.